And in the same conversation, he asked me if I wanted to be in charge of pulling the plug when he's on his deathbed. I was like, wow, Pop, really? This conversation? Do we have to? And he said, well, I'd ask your brothers, but they're still mad at me about stuff, and they'd be plugging me in and unplugging me and plugging me in and unplugging me.
Welcome to Inside Southern California. I'm Lynn Harper. You just saw Jackie Cation of TV's Last Comic Standing and guest headliner of West Coast Funnies. So coming up, we're going to meet the founder of the Funnies and find out why they are the West Coast answer to Saturday Night Live. Stick with us.
That's how we are. Oh, there are moments that will never happen that I am so ready for. I know exactly how I would tip my cap to the crowd if I were to ever be introduced in the lineup of a Major League Baseball All-Star game. I know exactly how I do that. That's why guys are the only people that will actually pantomime sports. We're the only people. You don't see women pantomiming sports. Guys will do it. And this anywhere. We don't even care. You know, you're in the mall shopping, the guy's just sitting there. And a woman will look at him and go, what are you doing? And another man from across the way will come over and go, you want to keep your elbows straight when you come back on the swing and then when you follow through. All right, thanks, appreciate it. All right, gotcha.
And that was the incomparable Lamont Ferguson, founder of what's now the West Coast Funnies. And now it's time to meet Lamont Ferguson, founder of the West Coast Funnies. In person, Lamont.
Greetings.
I'm going to shake your hand. Nice job.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well,
Good
my
being
pleasure.
here.
For those who've never been to what started out as the North Coast, North County Funnies,
right?
Which is now the West Coast Funnies, bring us up to date on how all that happened.
Well, we started as the North County Funnies because we were located in North County of San Diego. That was pretty much the basis of the idea. Then once the show kind of got larger to tour in different venues throughout the country, no one outside of the North County of San Diego would know what that is, so then we became the West Coast Funnies, the touring version of the show, and officially made the name change to the West Coast Funnies, so that now people know, oh, it's the Funnies based on the West Coast. See how that works? Oh,
it's like
beautiful.
a snap. But you have a silent partner in all of this, and let's talk about the venue, because really you have to mention the Carlsbad
Village Theater, which is the perfect venue for what we do. It's the right size, it's got all the multimedia capabilities within it, and it's got a great location, a good support from the Carlsbad community, the village community, and then the partner Stan Simmons, who's been with me. I've known Stan for some 20-some-odd years.
You know, funny you should mention Stan. Funny you should mention Stan, because I think everybody would like to meet Stan Simmons. What do you say?
All right,
Let's
be
meet
prepared.
Stan Simmons.
Well, myself and Lamont, we've been friends for 25 years now, basically ever since we started doing comedy. And we just got together. We both do comedy, and we decided to do something that we could make a little extra money staying at home instead of traveling all over the place. So, well, we write all our own material. Actually, Lamont writes probably 80% of it. Very talented guy. I throw in maybe 20%, and we get a couple from somebody else. So it's all from us. We try to bring the best comedy that we can and entertainment for the dollar. I mean, nowadays, what do you spend $10 to get into a movie and $20 for popcorn? So we try to bring a little bit of live entertainment and actually have it quality instead of, crap. Can I say that? Sorry, I said the C word.
That's quite a partner you have.
Yeah.
He's been with you quite a while, huh?
Yeah, I've known Stan for 20-some-odd years now. He's been my best friend and the guy that I call when I got an idea.
Well,
So.
There's another guy that without whom you mentioned that the Funnies could never really have taken off.
That's right. There's 2 phone calls that are made. One's to Stan, one's to Kurt Swan, and then we go fight crime. That's what we do. And Kurt Swan is the host, and without him, no show.
Well, I can see why, because I have the funniest clip of Kurt Swan. I mean, I shouldn't really say that because that's prejudicing everybody against, oh, hey,
Right.
this is funny, laugh at this. But if you don't laugh at what I'm going to show you on Kurt Swan now, then you're dead. You're dead.
Yeah.
So let's take a look. Kurt Swan.
Cloning or stem cell research and all this. I don't even know what they're talking about. They say, well, we can clone cats. I don't know. Do we need extra cats? Doesn't everybody that has, everybody that wants a cat, don't you already have one pretty much? And they're going to make some extra ones in the laboratory. And the first time I heard this, they were talking about sheep, and they said, oh, we can clone sheep. I said, well, who cares? They said, oh no, it's a miracle because we made two sheep that are exactly identical. That's why it's a miracle, they're identical. I'm thinking, well, all sheep are identical. Aren't they? Have you ever seen a sheep that didn't look like a sheep? You know, they've all got like the four legs, white curly hair, big black nose. It's pretty much a sheep, isn't it? I think if you could make a sheep that didn't look like a sheep, that would be a miracle, wouldn't it? See, I would like to see that, and then you're talking miracle. You know, if you go down to the laboratory and they say, all right, see that animal over there kind of looks like a zebra? Yeah, it's a sheep. We made it here in the laboratory. Look at it. It's a miracle. And then right next to that, you know, you see that woman kind of looks like Martha Stewart? It's a sheep.
I see exactly what you saw in Kurt. What a delivery.
Yeah, there's no one like Kurt. He's just funny and understated funny, and you just can't have a show without him.
Well, there's a few others that are parts of the North County Funnies, which is now the West Coast Funnies. We'll take a quick break to regroup after laughing so hard at Kurt, and maybe even Stan, I don't know, because he's just Stan. We get back, we're going to meet the Pearl Street Players, which of course is the ensemble cast. You up for that?
I'm ready. I'll be here.
In that case, we're going to take a very short break, and when we get back, you're in for a treat because it's the Pearl Street Players of the new West Coast Funnies. Stay with us. And welcome back. This is Inside Southern California. I'm Lynn Harper and founder of the North County Funnies, which is now the West Coast Funnies. Lamont Ferguson is my guest. And before I go any further, I just want to let you know if you want to see some behind-the-scenes pictures of this show or any of our other Inside Southern California productions, just go to my website, lynnharper.com, lynnharper.com, and click on Inside Southern California, and then all of that will be yours to see. Anyway, Lamont,
yes,
talk about the Pearl Street Players, which is the ensemble cast for the West Coast Funnies. Got a long history.
It does have a long history. I would say about 13 years ago or so, maybe 13 to 15 years ago, we were all at the Comedy Store comics, by saying we, and I'm included in that group, and we got tired of just doing straight stand-up. 5 shows, 5 nights a week is what it was. And so we decided to put together a sketch night where we got together, wrote sketch comedy, and put it on Tuesday nights. And so we did that show for about 3 years, and then, you know, the club, the people disbanded, they moved to LA and that type of deal. And I wanted to keep that type of thing going with the Pearl Street Players. That's where the Comedy Store was located, is on Pearl Street in La Jolla. So keep that name going. That's where this group is now as far as how they are
and this
in the
is
Pearl
the
Street
group.
thing. That is Really Bad Cops. That's what that sketch was, where cops that they were on film, but they really were horrible. They let all criminals go.
Well, as I remember, I was there that night, and that was a killer. That was really funny. You have a kind of a changing, evolving cast, don't you?
Yeah, it is an evolving cast. You try to get a core cast. I mean, it's the same problems that Saturday Night Live has, where you try to keep a core cast together, but, you know, through different things, people move on to better things. They get better offers, that type of deal. But the roots of this show go way back, and some of those people that were in the beginning of the show, Bobby Lee, who's now on Mad TV, was one of the original people that was on the show, and some other folks who have done a lot of television.
But you're always open to people who want to be Pearl Street Players.
Always open to stand-ups and actors, and try to keep that mix. That way the stand-ups can learn something as far as discipline from the actors, and the actors can learn that type of, we only have one shot, let's get it done, from the comics. That's the mixture on the show that I try to keep. And
not only the Pearl Street Players, but you have a section in the West Coast Funnies called The News, which I just love.
That's right. The news is, okay, we look forward to the news, and that's my baby. That I write the majority of the jokes that are in the news, and Kurt and I, that's our favorite part of the show. We like looking at that.
And you know, here it is, of course, on stage. You've got a lot of projections and all that good stuff.
Yeah, and the regular anchors, that's Stan Simmons and Mark Saratella, who's filling in for Natalie Boland, who would normally be in the newscast.
And there you are.
That's me doing a commentary. Every so often I'll sit in and do a commentary. Depends on how I feel.
So I've seen so many of the shows, it's usually the newscasters, it's either Natalie and Stan, and then you have the projections and all the jokes that go with it. It's really, really funny.
Actual news items, nothing made up, real news items, fresh as today's headlines. That's what they even have that new news smell.
Oh, yes?
Yes.
I wondered what that
A
was.
lot of people
I
wonder.
wondered what that was. But you know, my most fun time is coming early. I kind of sneak in and watch you as you are setting up the show, working with everybody, and getting it going.
Yeah.
Now, maybe you noticed us in our cameras, and maybe you didn't, I don't know, but we came early, we aimed the cameras at you and everybody, and I thought I would like, as a matter of fact, you all will really enjoy seeing Lamont Ferguson and all of the wonderful Pearl Street players, West Coast Funnies, behind the scenes. So let's take a look at what it looks like before the show. What do you say?
All right. The most stressful part of the evening.
Yep. Now, what are you doing now, Lamont?
I'm probably directing, okay, so I'm directing the news and just helping with the delivery of the jokes, and then I got to go over show lineup and make sure that's all right. The majority of this is technical, making sure the projections run correctly, making sure we got all the sound cues, because the show is powered off of a laptop and a lot of PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that. So just getting the last second things together before we actually open the doors and turn
So
it
you're
out
back
on
at the
audience.
console back there, and you actually speak to, during the show, you actually got a mic and you speak to some of the folks during the show.
I speak to the folks during the show. That's me breaking equipment, which helps in the overhead.
Yep,
That's
and
what
there's
I found.
Stan.
And yeah, just the little things of setting stuff up for Kurt, making sure he's got everything, make sure he's got a book, he's got the lineup, he understands, got all the commercial plugs that we do on the show and stuff. And that's the most stressful part of the show. Once that's done and the doors open, then there's a big break, because I'm like, oh, okay, there's nothing I can do now. Yeah, the show has to go.
Doesn't matter how early I come in, you're at that console and you're doing the rehearsals. They actually do a full rehearsal just before the day of the show.
Yeah, we do
don't they?
a last minute rehearsal before the show. Wow. We do one show, one rehearsal, one read through, one rehearsal, and then a show.
But it revolves, though, around, you have two guest comics, a superstar stand-up and a almost superstar stand-up, every single show.
Every single show. That's the centerpiece, is the stand-up comedy. All the other stuff is stuff that supports it, but it's no longer than a regular show. If you go to a comedy club, it'll be 45 minutes in front of the headliner. That's what this show is. It's just in a different format.
Oh, absolutely.
So, yeah.
But I have a montage that we gathered of just a few of the stars that have appeared on the stage of the West Coast Funnies, and I want you to take a look at who we picked. They're all funny. It was really tough to do, but I've got them coming up, and I think that all of you, we are all going to enjoy this montage of the headliners that have been over the past year or so, West Coast Funnies. So here they are.
You ever see a homeless person with a dog? No leash. No leash. Dog looks more decrepit than the homeless man. You ever notice that? And he's with Bob to the bitter end. A dog is a homeless man's best friend, not man's best friend. I'm not even against homeless pet ownership. Don't get me wrong. I'm not getting down on that. But if you're homeless and you have this sick desire to get a pet, get something that there's a reciprocal relationship, something that can give back to you. You're always walking around. Why don't you get a goat or a sheep or a chicken, something that can feed you, you know? I mean, because let's be honest, when you see a homeless man walking down your neighborhood, or if you're see a homeless guy walking down on Garnett, you think, that's so disgusting. You wouldn't think the same thing if he suddenly looked like a shepherd, if he looked like that. You're kind of like, hey, that guy kind of looks like Jesus. I never thought, I knew he said he was coming back. I didn't think he'd be this rough. Holy crap.
I'm fashionable, but I'm broke. Women know this kind of. I don't know where women learn all these different little things that they know, man. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to marry one of them. You know, get me in on the secret. It's hard for me because I have relationship issues. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you get to a certain age, you got to accept the fact. Maybe not every woman in the world's crazy. Maybe I have a few issues of my own. You know, I do, man. I'm commitment phobic for one thing. Scared to commit. I almost did it one time. I was going to get married, and this girl said something that scared the hell out of me. She told me a guy is supposed to spend 2 months' salary on an engagement ring. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but I wasn't throwing away $200-300 on a ring. There's no need for that at all. Women have rules, man. You ever go on a date, have a girl start telling you the rules, telling you how it's going to be? I go out with this girl. You know I don't like oral sex. Well, you must not like jewelry. That's how it works in the real world. Told you, ladies, you might not want to get on this train.
And I hope you all are having a nice week. I'm having a wonderful week. I got to go to my 3-year-old nephew's birthday party. And for his birthday, my sister, she gets him a piñata. Yeah, because apparently at 3, he wasn't breaking enough things around the house. She wants to blindfold him and hand him a bat. I'm not allowed over anymore because I kept going, hey, Evan, I bet there's candy in that lamp over there. Oh, too bad, try the dog.
I'm Vietnamese. It feels good, you know, and it's embarrassing though, because my sister's own nail salon. Surprise! Vietnamese person with a nail salon, you know, it's embarrassing because like you wonder what they're talking about, you know, when you're in there, you're getting your nails done. They're like, oh, your name is Rose. Oh, you're so beautiful. I didn't mean đủ má cái nhà này nó ngồi cho ê. Sao hay xanh đường vậy xanh đường good với cái miếng đồ. I tell you, she's slut. Oh, wrong language. What the hell?
Oh my gosh, I'm reliving. I was there for every one of those. I am reliving them.
It's a fun night.
Dat Phan, winner of Last Comic Standing, Alonzo Bodden, winner of Last Comic Standing, Karen Rontowski, about to go on the Jay Leno show if she hasn't already been, and Ray Combs Jr.
Combs Jr., yeah.
Oh my gosh. You know, for those who may not know about Ray, there's something a little bit special about him.
Yeah, his father was Ray Combs, who was the host of Family Feud, took over right after Richard Dawson for a long time, was a very popular host of Family Feud, and that's his son. It was followed in his footsteps because Ray Combs also was a stand-up prior to becoming host of Family Feud.
Exactly. And you know what's funny, Lamont, and I mean funny in not a ha-ha way, but you always think about comedians, stand-ups as having these funny lives, but I find that behind the scenes, they are all pretty much very sober individuals, always thinking about the next joke, the next thing they're going to do, and they're, with very few exceptions, they're none of them big, loudmouth, funny, ha-ha guys.
No, a lot of comics, well, I mean, yeah, like you said, with a few exceptions, but a lot of comics are just very, very, somewhat introverted because we're observers. If you're spending your time commenting on everything, then you're missing what you should be watching. And so a lot of us spend a lot of time watching and observing. I'm very quiet off stage myself, and that's what we do. We observe and then comment on that type of what we see, you know.
Well, I've met all of the stars that you have had in the West Coast Funnies, and I've been struck by what neat people every one of them are. Ray Combs Jr., his dad, is not a secret, committed suicide.
Right.
And Ray will never forget that, but he sort of uses that to fuel his desire to reach out.
Yeah.
There's a comedian that all of us here in Inside Southern California, all of your audiences and probably everyone around the world, once you see this particular man, you never forget him. You can't get enough and it becomes an addiction. Can you guess who I'm talking about?
I'm going to say Barry. Is it crazy? Barry and all the people that live inside of his head.
Yep. Barry Diamond. I have never in my life seen a stand-up like Barry Diamond. Actually, I have a clip that we compiled of Barry. We couldn't decide how much to take from Barry's act, so we just took a big chunk. You want to see what we chose?
Sure.
All right.
Sure.
For those of you who don't know Barry Diamond, get ready because you're never going to forget him. Barry Diamond.
I got hysterical. What's happening, my multiracial brothers and sisters? Yo, 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 what's up, baby? Why you all been tripping and shit? I'm a gangster. Serious. I'm a black gangster. I used to be an orange gangster, but I'm on medication. I'm a gangster and I'm the Christmas princess. I'm a OG CP dog. I'm original gangster Christmas princess. I have recently joined the gang in South Central Carlsbad, New Mexico. The name of my gang is called the Mashed Potato Gang. And we feel that it's much more humiliating to drive by and hit somebody with mashed potatoes and brown beef gravy. Many times our victims have been left standing there saying, I wish that motherfucker had shot me. Shit. Now, we used to be called the French fry potato gang, but a lot of the brothers in the gang have cholesterol problems. And not the good cholesterol, the bad cholesterol. Because there's good cholesterol and bad cholesterol, just like people, you understand? Because there's good people and there's bad people, just like cholesterol. I just made that up. I am so silly. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the world-famous Carlsbad Theater, where the aspiring young comedians of today are the heavy construction workers of tomorrow. I am very happy to be here tonight because I was recently fired from a very big hotel in Las Vegas that is still being built. I was making $5,000 a week in Las Vegas, and I was just parking cars. My last weekend, I made $18,000. I sold 7 cars. Why? Because I'm a businessman. That's what I'm about, baby, business. But fortunately, I'm making a shitload of money here in San Francisco. The kind of money I'm making here tonight, I don't have to worry about anything. Unless I want to buy something.
I must have seen that 50 times, if not more. I never get enough of Barry.
It's the best.
You know, it's a funny thing. You look at this guy and you go, oh, I can do that.
Yeah, that's the case. If you're doing this right, a lot of people think that, well, anybody could do that until you get up in those shoes. Like this thing, if you're doing it great, it doesn't look like you're doing much.
Well, you did mention earlier you're looking for some Pearl Street players. If anybody thinks they can do what Barry Diamond does, whatever. I said contact me at lynnharper.com, but you know, they could contact you.
They can contact me directly. It's Sprocket@ent.com. They could do that, and we'll get back to them, hold a little audition, see what they got, bring in the funny.
If that's the case, and I'm just thinking about this right now, I mean, this is like, you know, just not pre-planned. If that's the case, and something actually comes from Inside Southern California, we need to do another episode on who's contacted you, how they worked out, and do it on them.
That's right.
I've always wanted to be an impresario.
Either way, good or bad, horrible, something tragic happens.
Do it.
You know.
All right, so you heard, this is a challenge. If you think you can be as funny as, I'm as funny as Barry Diamond or Phan or whatever, just contact Lamont or me and let's see what we can do. Hey, let's take a break. Lamont, we'll talk about that during break and we'll get back. So this is Inside Southern California, Lamont Ferguson and me, Lynn Harper. Stick with us. And welcome back. It's Inside Southern California with my revered guest, West Coast Funnies founder and creator and stand-up Lamont Ferguson.
That's a lot of words.
Lamont, I'm so happy that you let us be a part of going from the North County Funnies to the West Coast Funnies.
Well, I can't thank you guys enough for being able to find us inside Southern California, to get the word out, to make it possible for us to be able to make that jump, because there's only so much a flyer can do.
Yes, but we're kind of an animated flyer.
That's right.
But thanks for letting us in, and we'll go forward as partners. That's really neat.
Yeah.
So if you want to be part of all of this, Sprocket.com for Lamont, lynnharper.com for me, and we want to make sure that you'll join us next time on Inside Southern California. I'm Lynn Harper. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.